Today, Russian officials confirm a wave of drones have targeted Moscow for the first time in the war. These are images from Russian state television, and you can make out there the wreckage of a drone. Russian officials say as many as 8 drones managed to breach Moscow airspace, some of the most heavily protected in the world. The attack on Moscow came as another massive wave of Russian drones targeted Kyiv. That is video showing Kyiv's air defenses firing into the early morning sky. Ukrainian officials say dozens of drones targeted the city. It is the third Russian airstrike on the capital in Ukraine in less than 24 hours. Dominic Velitis has more on both of the stories from London. Let's begin with the first one, Dom, what Russian officials are saying this morning about that drone attack on Moscow.
Yeah, good morning, Heather. Well, Russia's defense ministry says 8 drones were used in the attack, which took place in the early hours of this morning. It says all of them were brought down by Moscow's air defenses. 3 of them, according to one senior Russian politician, were downed over the city's exclusive Rubliovka suburb, which is home to Russia's political and business elite, and not far, incidentally, from where Vladimir Putin has an official residence. So none of these drones, we are told, hit their intended targets, but several buildings were damaged and at least 2 people injured in the process of bringing them down. The Kremlin has blamed Ukraine. Ukraine, in turn, has denied any involvement. Whoever was responsible, Heather, attacks like this on Moscow are rare. There was that alleged attack on the Kremlin earlier this month, but more drones were used in this morning's one. It's the first time we've seen a large-scale attack of this kind, and although no one was injured, the sound of explosions in the capital will have really brought the war close to home for Muscovites. Heather.
And in terms of what's happening in the Ukrainian capital, that latest bombardment in Kyiv, what are the latest details there, Dominic?
Yeah, another nighttime attack on Kyiv, the third in a row, in fact. Ukrainian officials say it came from multiple directions and in several waves. We're told that the city's air defenses shot down more than 20 Russian drones in the early hours of the morning. Cars and residential buildings were hit in the process. A 33-year-old woman was killed and a dozen others injured. As well as being the third nighttime attack on Kyiv in a row, this was also the 17th attack in general this month alone. And drones are really playing an increasing role in these attacks. And defense analysts think it's likely Russia is now building large numbers of its own drones rather than rely on Iranian ones to use against Ukraine, really in an attempt to exhaust Ukraine's supplies of air defense missiles, which, if happened, would obviously represent a major challenge for Kyiv. Heather.